Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? I hope you're doing well. If you don't know, I'm in California, the Bay Area. We've deployed the National Guard. So for those that think this is fake or something out there being controlled by the others, just stop it. It's not helpful. There are clearly bad thing happens if you are out there even talking. Good morning. If you're talking to anybody in the healthcare industry, you can just see online nurses and doctors. It's There's no ulterior motive. We something is invaded. This is definitely kind of warlike. It's hard for me to use that term, right, with parents that were both in the military and just what happens in war. But until somebody gives me a better term, that's what this is. And we've got to act like we've in war. Everybody's asked to sacrifice. If you go back and do any research on World War II, um, you know, everybody sacrificed. There was rationing. I don't know if you guys realize that, but the U.S. has seen rationing before. No, I'm not calling for that, but I'm just letting you know that in times of war, unnatural things happen. So I think it's pretty clear. Frankly, the only person who can do it is the president. He just needs to declare a national holiday or a national spring break or whatever the hell you want to call it for marketing. Just shut it down. Just shut the economy down. Tell people to stay indoors. Allow science and all these other things to do what it can. Don't have doctors and nurses make decisions about who lives and dies and all of that. So just moving on. This morning I was encouraged. I was up early. I wanted to see and feel better about something, and I had to watch the NYSE Open. If you don't know, they've had people on the floor every day the stock was open. Now, it was shut down a little bit around Hurricane Sandy and 9/11, but the exchange was shut down, right? They've never run it fully electronically. The NASDAQ has always been that way, at least as far as my memory goes, but the NYSE hasn't, right? The Dow, when you were thinking about it. But it appears to have gone off without a hitch. I am so happy. People need to have confidence in our financial system. They need to see that if they wanted to, they could sell. The worst thing that could have happened is they tried to open, something broke, and they had to shut it down for the day. That would have freaked people out. So the fact that it's open, it is down, which shouldn't be shocking anybody at this point, but it appears to be trading as well as can be expected from an outsider's perspective. Maybe there's people behind the scenes going, "Oh my God, my hair's on fire," but I can't see it. I don't see that on TV. So I was really, really, really. I meant it's a W, right? That's. It didn't have to go that way. It could it could have gotten worse. So I'm very, very happy to see that. Next up, the Fed came out with just a massive announcement. It was so large that it actually took futures up, which just kind of a fake rally in my opinion. We're going to have lots of fake rallies here going forward. But, again, the Fed's not done. I told you this weeks ago when people were commenting that, hey, the Fed cut rates, they're out of bullets. Come on. You're just not paying attention, right? The Fed has lots of stuff left, and they still have more to go. And just think about it. They just did unlimited buying of stuff. I think it's now mortgage-backed securities and some other things. A chances of entering a Great Depression? That's a good question. Oh, cool. Thanks, Josh. So this would be interesting. Actually, you know what? I'll take that question and I will I'll try to answer that. If I don't answer it, Josh, in this video, because this is about daily stuff, I'll probably do a video on that. I think that's a great question to answer. You know what? Actually, I'll do a video on that today, just that question alone. I'll read your email first. So again, it is time for the federal government to do their part, right? The Fed has done theirs, done more than they can. We need the federal government to step up, and this is how it needs to go. And you can go back and watch my videos from weeks ago. This is going to happen. I don't know why the federal government insists on having its repeat of its TARP moment. If you don't know what happened in the '08 crisis, there was something called TARP. I don't remember what it stood for, but basically it was something the federal government rolled out that needed Congress's approval. The first time that TARP went to get approval, it failed. The freaking stock market cratered. Guess what happened? I think it was later that day. It might even been the next day. TARP went back. Shockingly, it got approved. I don't know why we insist on repeating errors from the past. But again, the federal government needs to come out. I am certainly hopeful, as I just said yesterday, that it happens today. Part of me wanted it to be this morning. That's now come and gone. It will probably be after hours today. They have till Thursday. I'm standing by that. If they don't get it done by Thursday, game over. We are seeing companies lay off left and right. General Electric just announced that I think 10% of their employees are being furloughed. There's no demand in their aircraft or maintenance division or something. This stuff's coming, man. Get ready. If you don't step up, Congress and Senate and President on a joint resolution or whatever you want to call it, you are going to be at the helm when this thing craters. This is what's going to happen. The only question is when. Every American adult and child, right, probably at some income threshold, is going to get a check. You're going to get a check. And I'm guessing you're going to get a check every month that this is a national emergency. I'm fairly certain about that last point. I am 100% certain people are getting checks. I'm 99% sure that they will get checks repeatedly every month because we want to keep the system going. What you clearly see going on now is the threat of tenants not paying, landlords not paying mortgages, and that works its way up the stack until it blows up. So that's coming. We are going to help the unemployed. We could potentially see millions and millions of folks file for new claims through no fault of their own. In the service industry, we've asked the economy to shut down. They're going to get more money per week or bi-weekly or however it comes than they've ever seen before, on top of the check that they are going to get by being an American citizen. So while it's going to suck to be unemployed for sure, hopefully you hear me on this. It will be the best time ever to be unemployed, if that makes any sense, right? Being unemployed is never fun. I'm not trying to make light of it. But if you're going to be unemployed, this is the time, right? You're going to get a check and you're going to get unemployment insurance and you're going to get it faster because they're waiving the 7-day period or anything of that nature. And you're going to get more money. I believe they're going to turbocharge or supercharge or whatever you want to call it, the benefits, right? If you got 400 before, you'll get 600, whatever it is. So it's, again, if you're going to be unemployed, which again is terrible, this is going to be the best time. The numbers are the numbers. I don't know why anybody's arguing the basic math. If you shut the economy down, you shut America down for 30 days, you drastically reduce the infection rates. The fact that there are only really 3 states, or maybe now it's 12 states that have this down, is a shame because we're doing it to ourselves. I mean, just look at Louisiana. I had heard people celebrating Mardi Gras 2 weeks ago. Now their infection rates are off the charts. People, asymptomatic. You may be okay, but you could kill someone. I don't know what you don't get by that. Stop calling it a flu. The marketing of a flu is a bad idea. By calling it a flu, you are telling somebody else not to worry about it. It's not the flu for everybody. This is life and death stuff here. So just stop it. But by giving us a 30-day pause and giving everybody money, we get through this quickly. To the earlier question, I think from Josh, if we do this, there's 0% chance we have a Great Depression. Zero. We pause the economy for 30 days. We suffer numbers that will be astronomical hits to GDP, to unemployment, but everybody's got money. They have food on the table. It's okay. If you let this limp along and states go by states and nobody takes the leadership role, Great Depression's not off the table. We've got to shut everything down. Shut the airlines down. Stop it. You're going to help them. So just stop flying unless it's for cargo, emergency wear, or some other exception. Just shut it down. It's not a hard decision. I don't get it. We have to be uncomfortable. If we're going to treat this like a war and use that analogy, just the average American citizen is going to have to be uncomfortable. But how many of us, if we try to find the silver lining, will acknowledge that we've always wanted to spend more time with family? Or are we just kidding ourselves? Treat it as a gift. Stop being so negative. If the federal government will start sending checks to take care of the unemployed like never before, we can buy a month. We can buy 2 months. If you don't, the Great Depression is not off the table. And the other thing is, we, the American people, need to be the best of us. We need to stand up and help people. Some things that I've seen that I hope more of us can do, and I'm doing everything I can. If you are in the age bracket where this is maybe not terrible to you, you need to seek out your neighbors that are over 60 and ask them what they need. Not everybody has the ability to go to the grocery store. Not everybody has the money to go to the grocery store. If you happen to be in an area of the country or in your neighborhood where there's maybe some 60, 70, 80-year-olds that are frightened to go out because they're die, but they don't have any food, call them. Leave a note on the door. Ask them what they need. Let's help some people. If you have something, let's help people. Next, if you happen to know someone who's a first responder, think nurses and doctors and anybody in the hospital field, see what they need. Do they need help watching their kids? Do they need help schooling their kids? Do they need to take a freaking nap? Right? I can't imagine. Let's help. If you have stockpiled masks and you're just staying home, give it up. I can't believe hospitals are being told to wash masks and do all these other things because they don't have a choice. If we lose our first responders, that's not good. I don't even want to, that's just horrible. The other thing you've got to realize is I fully suspect when the federal government gets off their ass and does something for us, there's going to be a monster relief rally. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. That'll be short covering. If it suckers you into buying stocks, in my opinion, you're a fool. We have so many more weeks of bad news ahead. We have so many more layoff announcements. We have so many more earnings drops. We have dividend cuts. Don't talk to me about a 10% dividend today. If you're not smart enough to realize that that's being cut most of the time, you're not paying attention. So at the end of the day, I am more encouraged today that we're getting through this, right? We're one day closer. We have more and more of the support infrastructure around us doing the right things. I don't know why I have confidence in our government. That just sounds weird to say. But I do. They have to do something. They don't want to be on the books when the Great Depression is really a possibility. If they get something done today, clearly tell everybody's getting a check. The unemployed are getting extra checks. Stay home. Just shut the country down. Just shut it down. Shut it down. Be a leader, right? Be a wartime leader. Shut it down. Then you can get on and you can do extra things going forward, like these mortgage holidays and credit card holidays, which I fully expect are coming. But if we take care and we shut it down for 30 days, those pause button holidays, they'll be short. It won't be a problem. So again, I'm pretty encouraged. It's scary to say that I'm very encouraged because I'm relying on the federal government to do the right thing for the American people. I have every belief, just like TARP, the first time it failed. Good. Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Josh. Opening something for your kids. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say today. I'm going to take Josh's question and think about it. He asked about what are my thoughts on a repeat of the Great Depression. It's certainly not off the table, right? How we avoid it is we stop the negative feedback loop. If we don't, and we let the negative feedback loop continue, it'll eventually be too big and we won't be able to avoid it, frankly. So that's what I have for you today. Again, I'm excited. I expect big things today, but don't get me wrong. I still think stocks are going down. I think ETFs and index funds, when this is all said and done, will be proved to be a culprit and not a help, because too many people were in the theater when somebody said fire and we couldn't get out. This is a stock picker's business. It was what was done for the longest time. I think that's going to prove to be true, but don't believe me. I don't own any stocks. I was burned by the last stock market crash and never got back in. So that's what I got for you today. Hopefully you can tell I'm pretty excited, pretty nervous that I am betting on our federal government, but better to be positive than negative. Have a wonderful day. Let's see what happens. Take care of yourself. Be safe, and make sure you support the first responders. They're working crazy hours to try to help us get through this. Thanks. Bye.